Hi all, welcome to Autobot YouTube channel. So today we are going to see how we can connect a robot with Orchestrator and Studio and how we can execute the workflows from the Orchestrator. So these are the main points that we are going to cover today. That is how to allocate a license in Orchestrator, how to create the machines in Orchestrator, how to create a robot, how to create folders. Folders is nothing but the environment in the earlier edition of Orchestrator. Then how to connect Studio to Orchestrator. Then how to connect UiPath Assistant to the Orchestrator. Then how to publish the package from Studio to Orchestrator. That is, once the Studio get connected to Orchestrator, we have to move or publish the workflows from the Studio to Orchestrator. Then how to create the process in the Orchestrator. Then how to run the scripts in unattended mode, that is how to execute the boards in a unattended mode. Then how to deploy the process to UiPath Assistant. Then how to create the job. Then how to create the trigger and how to monitor the boards from the dashboard in Orchestrator. So these are the main points that we are going to cover today. So before going to that, I will show you one more thing. So in the first video, we have installed the UiPath Studio community in our machine, in my machine. So in that, I have show you the version as well. So it was Studio Pro 2021.4. Okay, but now there was an update from UiPath. So as per the UiPath, the latest edition is Studio 2021.10.0. So in this latest version, there is no Studio Pro is there. Only we have Studio and the Studio Pro. Sorry, Studio and the Studio X. And in the older version, inside the Studio, we doesn't had this test automation project available. But in the latest version of 2021.10.0, we have test automation available in the Studio itself. Okay. So as per my assumption, going forward, there will be only two Studio available in the UiPath, that is the Studio and the Studio X. Studio Pro will not be available. Okay, so let's just start with today's session. Okay, so let me open the UiPath Assistant. So this is the UiPath Assistant and we can see that is offline. So to connect this UiPath Assistant to Orchestrator, what we have to do is we need to go to preference, that is the second button. Just click on preferences. Okay, meanwhile let me open the Orchestrator UiPath Cloud Automation. Go to cloud.uipath.com. It is loading and the UiPath Assistant has opened. Inside this preference, just go to Orchestrator settings. Okay, and here go to connection type and select machine key. So we are going to connect to Orchestrator configuration or to Orchestrator using the machine key. Okay, and here if we select a machine key, we can see it is asking for a Orchestrator URL and the machine key details, and the current status of the UiPath Assistant is offline. It means it is not connected to the Orchestrator. So let me show you how we can complete this process and we can connect the UiPath Assistant to the Orchestrator. So let me go to Orchestrator. Our Orchestrator has opened. We can see the default tenant, that is our tenant name, and we are in the Orchestrator page. So let's go to the points that we have mentioned. What is the first one? How to allocate the license. It means in the Orchestrator, we have to allocate the license for the tenant. For that, what we have to do is go to admin, go to licenses, robot and services, just scroll down. Here you can see our tenant name, that is default tenant, and there is no license allocated to the particular tenant. So what I'm going to do is just click on this edit license allocation, and here it is mentioned like one available, right? So I'm just clicking on this, and I'm allocating one production unattended runtime license. Okay, and for testing also one is available, so I'm just assigning one to that as well, and just save it. Okay, so it means for this particular tenant, this license we have allocated. For the community we have one production unattended license, and testing robot one license is available that we have allocated to a particular tenant, default tenant. Okay, then what is the next step? We have to go to orchestrator. Okay, go to tenant. Okay, then what is the next step? So this part is done. Next step is how to create machine. So for that we have to click on this tenant. So inside the tenant we have to click on machines. Okay, then add a new machine. So here you can see three type of templates are available for creating the machines. So this machine is nothing but the way of connecting our personal laptop, or the system in which you are going to run the robot. Okay, so we are going to connect that system to the orchestrator. Okay, so here this total machine creation is totally dependent on how you are going to use your machine. Okay, suppose if I'm going to use the current laptop today, and tomorrow I'm going to use another laptop for my activities. Okay, at that time the system details will get changed, right? So for my day-to-day activities I'm using different laptops on a daily basis. It means I cannot use the system details to connect to the orchestrator. So if that is the case, we'll have to use a floating template, or we can call it as an add machine template. Or if you're going to use some static machine, like if I have one laptop and I'm going to use the same laptop regularly, means I can use the system details to connect to the orchestrator. In this video, let's try to create a standard machine, and we can continue the demo. We can go deep into this machine template, the standard template, and elastic robot pool in another video. So just try to create a standard machine, as I'm going to use the same machine on a regular basis. Okay, so if I choose a standard machine, it will ask for the name. So what is this name? For that, what we have to do is go to your UiPath assistant. Okay, here you can see machine name, right? We have selected the machine key as the connection type. Then if you choose machine key, it will show you the machine name. Okay, so just select that name, paste the name here. Okay, give some description. This is a machine for demo. Okay, then I have to allocate the runtime license. So one I can choose for production unattended, and one for testing. Okay, then I'm going to click on provision. So here we can see a machine got created, and the installed version is no robots. So no robots is now connected to the particular machine. Okay, so the creation of machine is done. So we'll mark it as done. Then what is the next task? We have to create a folder bar environment, right? So if you are familiar with the older version of UiPath Orchestrator, you have seen one tab called environment. But in the latest version, that environment has replaced with the folders. Okay, so both are same, but a name change from environment to folders. So what is this folder? Folder is nothing but it helps for the grouping of the machine. Like suppose in the team, if I have some 20 machines, and 10 machines I'm going to use it for testing and 10 for development, means I need to group this machine to different environment, right? So 10 I need to group it for test, and 10 machines I need to group it for dev. So what I can do, I can create a folder and I can link those test machines to the test environment, and 10 dev machines to the dev environment or the dev folder, right? So let's see how to create the folder. So you have to be in the tenant page, go to folders, click on the new folder. Okay, just give some name. I'm giving the name like okay, demo environment. Give some name. This is a demo environment. Okay, then I'm clicking on create. So now you can see a new folder got created, right? So what is the next step? As I mentioned, these folders will help to group the machines, right? So I need to link the machine which I created to the folder, correct? So I'm clicking on demo environment, and once you click on demo environment, it will show you two tabs. One is users and machines. So user is your username and details, okay, and what is the license that you have allocated, that is unattended robot time, and what is a machine. Currently to this environment there is no machine tagged, right? So I need to tag the machine to this environment. So I'm clicking on manage machine. Then here you can see the machine which I created. So I'm just selecting that and clicking on update. Okay, so to this particular environment I tagged the particular device which I machine which I created. So once you've done that, or once you create the machine, you can see a machine key got generated here. Here we have to give the orchestrator URL and the machine key. So I'm copying the machine key which got generated, and here what is the orchestrator URL. So this is a little bit tricky. So just copy the entire URL, just paste it here, then remove all things till our tenant name. So my tenant name is default tenant. So I'm just removing all other things. Okay. Then click on connect. So now you can see the connection got established, and now it is showing like connected and licensed. Suppose if you are getting something like connected but unlicensed means, just go to orchestrator, go to manage asset to manage access, choose your role and try to edit, and here just check whether for this robot setup you have given all the details. Okay, you have given all these details like whether you have selected this unattended robot, and you have selected this run foreground automation, because as you are going to run the board in an unattended board mode, you have to choose this checkbox like run foreground automation. So if you need to run it in an unattended mode, you have to give the domain bar username of your machine and the password of the machine. So here it is asking like what is the credential store that you want to use. So by default it is orchestrated database. Suppose if you want to use some other storage bucket, you have to create that in the storage bucket, whether if it is any Azure or AWS service like that. Okay, then once it is done, click on next and click on update if there is a license issue. Okay, and you have to verify whether you have selected the unattended license here also. Inside the admin we assign the license to the tenant, so you have to verify that also. So once everything is clear, and if you try to connect, it will work fine and it will show it like connected and licensed. Even in the studio also it will connect to the folder which we created, that is a demo environment, right? So that's it. So this part is done. Then we have created the robot and connect studio to orchestrator, that is also done. Then this part is also done, right? And one more thing, like suppose in few scenarios you may have faced some issues like the license issues. So you have to verify here also in the license, go to tenant, then go to license, and just make sure the license is properly allocated in the licensor tab. Sometimes we may have allocated that, but there is due to some application issue or due to some network issue, this license allocation may not done properly. Okay, so we need to make sure this has done properly. Otherwise, you have to go to manage, then you have to allocate the license again. And here in the studio, you can see our studio is directly connected to the environment which we have created, that is a demo environment. Let's try to execute this demo workflow in the UiPath Studio itself, and once it is done, we can push or publish this to the orchestrator. So I'm just executing the workflow in the studio itself, and it should show the message box. Okay, now the execution has started and it has shown the message box. So it means studio has connected to the robot and the execution is working properly. So what is the next step? I have to publish this workflow to the orchestrator, the package to the orchestrator. For that, what you have to do, just click on this publish button. We have to give the package name, so I'm just keeping the same name, Autobot demo. And what is the current version and what is the new version? So the new version is 1.0.9. Okay, now click on next. Where it will go? It will go to orchestrated tenant process feed. Okay, then click on next and click on publish. So once you did that, and it will show you the message like project published successfully, and what is the version 1.0.9, and what is the name of the package, Autobot demo. What you have to do is go to orchestrator, go to tenant, then go to packages. So once you publish the workflow from studio to orchestrator, it will come to orchestrator like a package. So you have to go to tenant and package. There you can see the Autobot demo. This is the latest published package to the orchestrator, right? A minute ago the Autobot demo has published to the orchestrator. Then what we have to do, we have to create a process, right? So this part is done, package from studio to orchestrator. So this part is done. What is the next step? In order to execute this process or this package from the orchestrator, we need to create a process, right? So I will show you how we can create a process. For that, go to the environment which you created, that is demo environment. Click on that. Go to automations. Okay. So inside the automation, you can see the process tab. Why we are going to demo environment? Because we are going to execute the package from the machine which we have created, right? So that is tagged inside the demo environment, correct? So we have to go inside that folder, go to automation, then process, and here you have to click on add process. Okay, so once you click on that, it will ask for the package source name. You have to choose the package Autobot demo. Okay, then what's the package version, and what is the entry point? The default entry point is main.xml. Suppose in your workflow you have multiple XAML files, okay, and you want to make some other file as the entry point, means you have to give that name. Then your execution will start from that XAML file. Okay. In our package we have only main.xml, so I'm just keeping the same. Click on next. Click on next. Okay, it will ask for the display name. What is the name for the process? So I'm just giving demo process as the name, and you can give some description. This is a sample process. Okay, then what is the priority for the job? I can choose 3 priorities, whether it can be high, normal or low. I'm just keeping the default, and here you can see 2 values are there. Process can't be stopped from UiPath Assistant. So once we enable this, if you trigger something from the orchestrator, it can't be stopped from the UiPath assistant. So there won't be any option for stopping it from the UiPath assistant. So I'm just disabling that. And here another thing is automatically start process. So suppose if I'm enabling that, we whenever if we are starting the robot agent, at that time the execution will start. Okay, so as of now I'm disabling both. Click on create. Okay, so once you click on create, and if you go to your UiPath assistant, just refresh it, you can see the demo process got deployed to the your UiPath assistant. Okay, so it is waiting for the install. So I'm just clicking on this button. Okay, now it is showing like it has installed the packages and job started processing. Now you can see the message box. Okay, so the package or the process has deployed from the orchestrator to the assistant, and going forward you can trigger your process from the assistant itself. Okay, if you don't want to schedule it and you need to run it from the assistant, means you can just click on the run button. Okay, so this is how you need to create the process and need to deploy to the UiPath assistant. Okay, so we have completed this step, that is how to create the process. Okay, so what is the next step? How to run the scripts or the boards in unattended mode, right? So if you want to run the scripts in unattended mode, what we have to do? We have to go to our UiPath. I think this point we already covered. Okay, we have to go to tenant. Okay, inside manage access, we have to choose our name, that is Autoboard, then go to edit, and inside the robot setup we have to enable this. Okay, we have to run it in unattended mode, and if you want to run it in unattended mode, what we have to do, we have to give the username and password of our system, domain bar username and the password of the system, because we are going to schedule or we are going to run the system, run the process even if our system is in locked state also. Okay, so to execute the scripts in the board which we are configured, and if it is locked, means we need the system credentials to execute the process in that machine. Okay, so if you need to run it in unattended mode, you have to give these permissions, that is run foreground automation, and you have to provide the essential credentials and other details. Okay, so that is required for executing, and we have to allocate the proper license for the unattended boards. Then how to deploy the process to UiPath assistant? So this part is already done, and we have seen how you can deploy the process to the UiPath assistant. So we have seen how to create the process and executing the same from UiPath assistant, and deploying the process to UiPath assistant from the orchestrator. So what is the next step? How to create the job? The job is nothing but the process of executing, or the way of executing the process using the robot. Okay, so that is called the job. So for that we have to create the job in orchestrator and we need to run it. So we'll show you how you can create the job. So same like how we created the process, just go to automations inside of environment, go to jobs. Okay, here you can see already a job is created. If you want to create a new one, what you have to do is click on start. Okay, you have to give the process name. Suppose if you have multiple process, you can choose which process that you want to execute. Okay, so I will, we have only one, so I am choosing the process name. And what is the priority of the job? Either you can choose high, normal, or low. So based on that, it will execute your job in the orchestrator. So I'm keeping the same. And what is a runtime license? By default, it is production unattended because we have assigned unattended license for the robot, right? And number of times this process has to execute only one time. If you want to execute multiple times, you can change the value here. And what is the account? Like you're going to run the job in unattended mode, right? So we have assigned this domain by username to the role. So we have to choose this account name and in which machine that we are going to execute. So that is my laptop. So I'm just choosing that value. Then click on start. So if you complete that step, you can see a job is currently in a running status. So it will execute, and you can see the message box here. Yeah. So the job is completed, and that job got executed with the robot in my machine. So it is showing process is successfully executed. So if I click on OK, the status of the job will change to success. Okay. So this is how you can create the job, and you can get the details of the job here, like what is the process, which process I executed, and the robot name in which mode, that is unattended mode, and the account machine details, all the infos you can see it here. Okay, so this part we have completed. Then what is the next step? How to create the trigger, right? So trigger is nothing but, suppose if you create a job and you need to schedule the job in your machine, like on every day at 9 o'clock you want to execute some workflow in your machine. So how we can do that? We need to schedule it, and even if a person is not there also, orchestrator can run that in that particular machine in an unattended mode, right? For that we can use the triggers. So just click on trigger inside automation and click on add a new trigger. Okay, so for creating the trigger, we can either choose two ways, that is time or the queue basis. Okay, so time is nothing but it's totally based on the time selection, like in on which time that you want to execute the job that is created. Queue method is nothing but if we have a queue created in the orchestrator, and if there is a new item that is coming to the queue, at that time we need to execute the job. Okay, so these are the two ways. So let's go with the default one, that is time. We have to give a sample name. So I'm just giving a sample trigger. You can give any name to this. So here you have to choose the process, which process that I want to execute. So just give the process name, that is a demo process. And what is a job priority? So here you can see four priorities are available, that is high, normal, low, and inherited. So I'm going with the inherited job priority. What is a runtime license? So production unattended, that is our default license. And execution target, number of times that you want to execute, that is one time. And if you want to pass some value or pass any argument to the job while execution, you can give it in the arguments. And time zone, this is important because in which time zone that you want to execute. Suppose you are working for a Singapore client and you want to execute it based on their timeline, means you have to choose the time based on the Singapore. Okay, so it's totally based on for which geography that you're going to work. And here you can choose the way of creating the time, like in which time that you want to execute. By default it is a minute every 1 minute, so every 1 minute it will execute. If you want to do it in a hourly basis, you can give that in which hour and at what minute you want to create. Or if you want to do it in a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you can do that as well. And if you want to go for a cron base, like if you want to create some cron job for executing these jobs, what you can do, you can create a cron expression for executing the job. Okay, so that is also possible. If you want to schedule something in your machine and you don't want to run it on any of the holidays or on the public holidays, for that what you can do, you can create a calendar with the non-working days and you can publish it here. So once you did that, which all days that you marked as the non-working days, on those days it will not execute your bot. Okay, so there can be some restrictions, like if you're working for some stock related projects on public holidays, this stock market will not be available, right? So on those days, if you don't want to execute, what you can do, you can mark the non-working days and you can create a calendar. And here the other thing is end job execution. So if you enable this, you can give the time at what time you want to end the job. And here one more thing is, if the job is not stopping, okay, if the job doesn't stop, means what is the next step? You can kill it directly. Okay, so it will directly kill your job. And the thing is, disable the trigger. So if you enable this, it will disable the trigger at a particular date and what time you want to disable this trigger. So after that, this trigger will not execute. And here the other thing is, you need to choose the account, same like how you created the job. So just choose the account in which job that you want, sorry, in which account that you want to execute the trigger and in which machine that you want to execute. So I'm just selecting both and click on add. So now a trigger has been created a few seconds ago. So as I selected every 1 minute as the triggering point, so it should execute this trigger in the in a 1 minute. Okay, so we'll wait for 1 more minute and we'll see whether this trigger is working fine or not. So meanwhile, I'm going to monitoring. I'm going to process. Okay. So this monitoring is nothing but the dashboard, which will help to monitor all the machines, process queues, SLAs, everything inside a single dashboard. So it will help to monitor everything that is happening within this RPA process. Okay, so we can see our trigger got executed and the process is successfully executed. And in the dashboard, you can see one running job is there. So one running job means currently the trigger is executing. So that's why it's showing like a running job. So if I click on OK, that got completed, and you can see here like it has executed successfully. Okay, so like that, suppose in your team or in your company, if you have some 100 boards configured to Orchestrator, and all these 100 boards are working on different process, right, or different jobs. So it's a difficult task to monitor all these jobs and whether any machine is not connected or if you're facing any network issues or something, and what is the status of the jobs that is running. So all these things can be monitored from the monitoring tab. Okay, and if you want to change the interval to 1 hour, that is also possible, and you can see the status of the jobs that is running in this particular interval. So again our trigger got executed in the next 1 minute. So this is how you can create the triggers in your system or triggers in Orchestrator. And if you want to get the logs of this execution, what you can do is just go to the logs, and here you can see the details of the process and other details on which day it got executed and all. And if you want to export these logs, you can click on export and export the logs to your local machine. So we have completed these steps, like how to create the triggers and how to monitor the boards. Okay, so this is how you can create the triggers and how you can monitor the boards from monitoring tab. So in this particular machine tab, you can monitor all the jobs or all the machines that is configured. And if you want to group it by machine, you can group it, and what's the status of the machines, that is also available here. And currently I have a system that is one for testing and one for production unlimited that is configured. That's why it's showing like a available. Okay, so here you can see the machine and the licensing details. One is production unlimited and one is a testing license. Okay, So suppose if you have a multiple or 100 machines configured, you can monitor all the details, like whether any machine is unresponsive or if there is any machine which is unlicensed. And here you can see currently the execution is happening using the unattended license, right? That's why it's showing in the blue. It is showing like in use, right? So if you click on OK, it will again change to available status. And if you want to monitor the process, you can go to monitor the process, and you can monitor all the jobs, like what is the status, like whether it is running or pending. And in your organization, if you configured some 20 jobs and 10 got pending due to some network issue or application issue, you can see why, how many jobs are pending and why it is pending. Okay, so it will help to debug and find out the issues, and if there is any issue with the execution, you can find out the solution and re-execute it. Okay, so all the process details, everything you can see it over here. And if you have any queues, you can see what is the queue overview and how many are in unprocessed stage, and the entire transaction overview you can see it here. So as we haven't created any queues, there is no details here. So if once we are going to this queue elements and all in the orchestrator, we'll go to this monitoring and we'll explain how to monitor the queue items in the monitoring tab. And SLA, this is for a service level agreement. So if there is any SLA overview that we want to see here, like if some SLA is breached or something, we can monitor everything in the particular monitoring dashboard, okay, for the SLA. So I hope we have covered all the points and it finds useful for you. If this video is useful for you, means just to share it to your friends, and do subscribe to our channel, and try to follow the playlist UiPath. So in this UiPath playlist, we will be uploading all the videos related to the UiPath RP tool, and we'll be covering the next RP tools in the coming videos. So thanks for watching.